Would you like to highlight few points which are causing, those factors which are causing cancer?
Rightfully said, with the huge population like India, cancer is spreading rampantly. So, the main reason for the cause of cancer to start with is tobacco consumption. In any form, it is very, very rampant in India, in rural areas as well as in the cities. Secondly, is the sedentary lifestyle.
Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Today here we are with another podcast and we are going to talk about cancer awareness. National Cancer Awareness Day falls on 7th of November every year. It is about to raise awareness on early detection and also the lifestyle choices that we make which increases the risk of cancer. Today, we have an expert from this domain, Mrs. Chahna Gandhi. She has done her course in palliative care and breast cancer. She got an Apcasort Fellowship of UICC for a training course at Melbourne, Australia in Helpline for Cancer Patients. She also has taken training for clinical trial management. She has done her master's in English literature from Mumbai University. She is associated with WeCare Foundation, which is there since 1997. It has been started by Vandana Gupta. WeCare Foundation is about empowering cancer patients with care for controlling chaos to helping them control their life. Last year, it has supported more than 2 lakh patients. It is commendable that we have such organizations which are working in this domain. It is located at Tata Memorial Hospital and various other private hospitals in Mumbai. Now, I would like to welcome Mrs. Chahna Gandhi, who is expert in this domain and she will share her valuable insight. Welcome, ma'am, to the podcast of NehaNturiFit. And it is really commendable for the kind of work that you're doing and you're helping so many people.
Thank you, Bhavesh, for all those kind words. I'm really looking forward to this interaction with you guys. And let's hope that the awareness which we can spread to the patient is the need of the hour.
It is our pleasure, ma'am, to have you. And it is actually a privilege to have a person like her. You know, ma'am, the word cancer itself scares us. It is right now the most, it has been going around worldwide and especially in country like India with such a huge population. I think awareness of cancer is very important. So would you like to highlight few points which are causing, those factors which are causing cancer?
Rightfully said, with the huge population like India, cancer is spreading rampantly. So, the main reason for the cause of cancer to start with is tobacco consumption. In any form, it is very, very rampant in India, in rural areas as well as in the cities. Secondly, is the sedentary lifestyle. Most cancers are also caused due to the lifestyle. So, to lead a healthy lifestyle through a healthy diet is very important. Also, the cervical cancer is on the rise in the rural belt because of the low hygiene factor. So, these are some of the pointers which are leading to the cause of cancer. Like during the pandemic, we had most people were working from home. So, the physical activity was almost down to zero. So all those pile up and then it causes cancer.
And especially, ma'am, as rightly said that, during pandemic, there was a lot of sedentary lifestyle. People were overindulging in food.
True.
And we have seen that in last recent years, there has been a sharp rise in cancer cases. And especially, when we talk about rural part of India, where, the awareness is very less. We have been seeing that, the rise in cancer cases have been increasing drastically. And again, that is a matter of concern. And I think, as rightly said, that key point is, awareness. So can you highlight we come across so many forms of cancer. Like, there are various cancers which we hear about. Can you tell us that which are the most common cancer that we come across?
The most common in India today is the oral cancer, and that is due to the consumption of tobacco in different forms. The second biggest cancer is the breast cancer.
Yes.
And after that, we are seeing stomach cancer in different parts of India, also cervical cancer, like in the rural belt. Prostate cancer in the men over the age of 65 is also increasing. So these are the prominent ones which are. Breast cancer could be to a certain extent genetic also, but rest all are factors which are controllable.
So can you highlight few points which would help to prevent cancer?
To prevent cancer, like we mentioned the cause. So the first cause is tobacco consumption. So avoid tobacco in any form. Chewing tobacco, powdered tobacco, tobacco in the form of paste, cigar, cigarette, everything. There's a big, huge lobby from the cancer field trying to eradicate cigarettes and sale of cigarettes and cigars. But it's going to take ages to go over.
But in fact, I would appreciate that, because now it has become compulsory to put those pictures on the packets. Along with that, even the government has been increasing the taxes on the tobacco products. And many places, what we have seen is government is also banning the sale of tobacco products and consumption, especially when we have seen that the radius nearby the hospitals, schools, it is not allowed to sell. So I think these small efforts are also, it is going to go a long way, and awareness is again the main factor in this.
Yeah, in fact, even in the films now they've come out that they need to put the caption that it's harmful and injurious. But it is those film stars and the movie makers are really having a great impact. So unless they stop showing cigarette as a fashion module or something like that, it's not going to be easy task for us to handle.
So I think all the influencers of society, we all play an important role to stop the consumption of tobacco.
True. A small example I would like to tell here is even our domestic help at home, most of them chew tobacco. And when you try to tell them, about the harmful effects, they see people in their own home, maybe their own brothers or uncles who have fallen prey to tobacco use and have been operated. They see the gory pictures with holes in the mouth and cheekbone cut off and things like that. But still, they don't connect it to the use of tobacco. Jo hona hai wo hoke rahega is their attitude. Even if we tell them, like, if we have about 50 volunteers in We Care and we all have talked to our domestic help or drivers or whoever, I don't even think 50% have been still managed to convince them to stop using tobacco. So it's a very difficult habit to stop. But as long as we keep on pushing that awareness thing and telling them about the side effects and how it affects the entire family, cancer does not affect only the individual, it affects the whole family. So that if we highlighted, people will, I think, hopefully fall in line and try to lead a better lifestyle.
So as rightly said by ma'am, what we believe is learning starts from home and the society. Cancer is not only, or any disease is not only detrimental on the patient, but its impact is on the entire family. So as rightly said that, family, friends, society, so how can they play an important role in awareness as well as for someone who's already suffering from cancer?
Yeah. So family support in any disease is very important. Without that, to go through the entire disease treatment is difficult. Especially in cancer patients, it plays a double effective and important role, because the cancer treatment is very long. It's not for a day or two. So the patient as well as the caregiver both need attention. It's not only the patient. So if the family works as a team and manages to keep the patient motivated to complete the treatment, in a comfortable environment. That is the key. So family support makes things easier in the line of treatment.
I think that's a very important point. Ma'am, in India, especially when it comes to self-care, people are not very aware about going for a regular checkup or a routine checkup. So according to you, when do you feel a person should go for a checkup? And especially, when you spoke about breast cancer, a lot of women we are seeing that, it is becoming a very common thing nowadays. So when do you think a person should go for a checkup?
Usually, we do recommend people to have regular checkups after the age of 40. Uh, Especially for breast cancer, to have their regular checkups if they have anybody in the family who has had a history of breast cancer. But generally speaking, there are a few signs and symptoms. Like if there is an unusual bowel movement or urinary bladder movement, unusual discharge or bleeding, a cough or a sore throat which is not healing for a long time, any change of color in a mole or a wart, uh, even lumps in any different parts of the body. All these are some signs which are to be actually looked into with care, and they should be the signs lead you to an awareness that there is something wrong in the body. It could not be cancer. So I mean, if you have a viral flu which goes on for 15 days, you don't go for an oncologist to show that why am I.
But I think something that is more chronic,
and repeatedly, intermittently repeated. So then that would definitely be of concern. So those areas, and like I said about the age group, genetic, and Tata Memorial itself has a preventive oncology department where they have these tests for both men and women. Similarly, private hospitals also do have these checkups. So ideally for women, breast and cervical cancer checkups are done, and for the men, for the lungs and prostate. So those checkups really need to be followed up on. And just a pointer, like for cervical cancer, people are quite shy. Women are shy to go to the doctor and get these checkups done. But it is said that the lesions, if they are found now, and if you're going to get cancer after maybe 10 years, then it is told today that you will get cancer 10 years after. So you're so much early in treating it now rather than wait till the symptoms come up after 10 years or 7 years. So early detection is a key to everything, kind of.
So I think this is very important that today with the medical science and technology what we have, I think we as individuals should be more responsible. When we have this facility, why not take the advantage? So as rightly said, that early detection is the key factor. It will rather help us to come up with a solution rather going and suffering at a later part. So coming to this point, we hear about this various stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 in cancer. So what is it about, and where it is a higher possibility of treatment, or is there any treatment?
The stages are different for different types of cancers. They mean different things. But technically, we don't go by the stage thing. When we are talking to the patients, we just ask them to follow the treatment. And usually, the beginning, the first stage 1 and stage 2 cancers are mostly curable, especially in breast cancer, in oral cancer, if they are found early. Those are cured. The difficult cancers to cure are the digestive system cancers, because first of all, the signs come on very late. So that is why the checkups are important.
Right.
So you know that from the beginning there's something wrong and you can address it right away. Because if the symptoms come only after 3rd and 4th stage, then
You're talking about digestive cancer.
So the digestive cancers are the ones which don't have a good prognosis usually. So the signs come on very late and it's difficult to treat. And that is why the importance of early checkups and follow-ups.
So please don't wait. And if there is something which is chronic, or if the doctor feels something is not right, kindly go and get yourself checked. That is a key factor. So, ma'am, when we talk about this, we have heard about Tata Memorial and heard about We Care. Are there any such more organizations or such NGOs which are working towards awareness and treatment for cancer in India?
Yes, there are a lot of NGOs which are working for cancer awareness and prevention, and they have a lot of programs for that all across India.
Okay.
So these days, the awareness factor has increased a lot. And I think it's thanks to the education also increasing.
Yes.
So people want the awareness to be spread. And it is, most of the hospitals also now have a social work department. So they also conduct these campaigns for checkups and awareness camps. For even the corporates are getting aware for their CSR and other things. They want people to know about cancer early detection, and that is how it's spreading. So it's not that there's a low number of people who are spreading this awareness. It's a huge number of cancer NGOs working on it.
That's really great. And ma'am, I've heard about We Care Foundation, and it's there since last 2 decades, and you have been associated with them since a long time. Can you give us more information about what We Care Foundation does?
Yes. So, like you already said, it was started by Mrs. Vandana Gupta in 1997, and it started as an emotional support group, and it has grown over the years. It's a voluntary organization, and we have a lot of outreach programs also for the patients. So it's not only emotional support, that is counseling for the patients and the caregivers, but we have even financial aid given to the patients at Tata Memorial Hospital.
Okay.
We have different programs, like it comes from the doctors itself from Tata Memorial. We have an infection control kit which are given to the children. All the pediatric patients who are admitted are given those kits. So during the entire treatment, that whole kit which is required is with them from day one. Then we have a program even for the retinoblastoma, which is the eye cancer patients. So usually it is a little cosmetic, because when the retinoblastoma patients are operated, there's actually a hole in the eye area. And when they are children who are going to school and maybe later on college and all, so younger children are very, very, because of the society, they feel left out. They are looked down upon, kind of, because there's a hole. Your face is not normal. So there is a prosthetic eye which comes, which is fit. So it is just totally cosmetic. It does not have any vision or anything, but it just gives a good appearance, a normal appearance to the child.
And ma'am, coming to this point, I think there is another factor which is very important, since we are talking about awareness. There are quite a few people who have undergone such kind of treatments, and sometimes they are scars, or they have certain disfigured appearance. As a society, I think what we need is that inclusion. Kindly, have that empathy on those people who have been through this, and just accept them as a normal person. And I think they should be appreciated, because they have fighted it out. I mean, it's a very challenging thing. So at least as a society, what we can do is just accept them as a normal individual. I think this is a very important
very
point.
true. The society plays a big role. And in fact, after so long, within like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they have also started marriage bureau-like thing for cancer patients.
So like a
matchmaking bureau. So
That's
where
nice.
cancer patients can connect to each other, and we have seen so many successful marriages out of that.
Wow.
And it could not be that somebody might be in the US and some girl from Bombay, and things like that. And we have had survivors also who have interacted with We Care and then gone through that marriage link, and they are leading a wonderful life. So I think normalcy needs to be put on even the survivors.
Exactly. And in fact, they will be the inspiration for the entire society, and many others who probably would be going through this.
True.
So, ma'am, coming to the last question, as you have been doing counseling at We Care Foundation, can you just elaborate on what exactly you do and why counseling is so important?
Yeah. Well, I do counseling at Tata Memorial as well as Leelavati Hospital. And so it's both class of patients you get to see.
Right.
The gap is quite wide, but of the socio-economic strata. But you will be surprised that both need the same type of counseling. Money doesn't come at all in the picture. Like in Diwali, we have this share a celebration, we call it, and we distribute hampers to patients. So whether it's a hamper in the Tata Memorial General Ward or a ward in Breach Candy, each patient is so happy to just interact and they don't feel left out. Especially Diwali is a big festival for India, so they feel that somebody cares for us and has come to wish us for Diwali. The hamper doesn't matter to the Breach Candy patients, but just the thought that somebody is coming and caring and wishing them is important. So counseling goes a long ways because the caregivers also in this require a lot of counseling. In India, there is another criteria. The patient is usually kept unaware of what he's suffering from. Even though it's an educated class, they still say if they take them to a private hospital, it's not a cancer hospital, so they can still hide it. They might not, when we go to counsel, please don't tell the patient he has cancer because we have not told them. In fact, the patient knows because the body speaks to him. So the communication between the patient and the caregiver is very important, or the family basically. Each is trying to protect the other, but if they both come out in the open, it will be beneficial for both. Right?
So it's about acceptance and it's also about the psychology.
Absolutely.
I think when someone is going through cancer or any such, severe disease, I think the most important factor is about the psychological strength and also about the acceptance. That, once you accept it, I think you will probably live it, more happily, and you probably would have more strength.
Yeah. In fact, for many years, cancer meant cancer, but now that is a myth. It's no longer the same statement. And films also showed that any person suffering from cancer end is death. Well, that is
and
no
I
more
think
true.
people like you and organizations like We Care play a very important role to actually motivate and inspire people, and also spreading awareness. And I'm sure your counseling must have made a difference to a lot of people, and that is what I think is the need of the hour, because people should know about what is happening, what are the possibilities. And as I mentioned that it's not only detrimental on the patient, but it's the entire family. So as you rightly said that family members also need that kind of counseling and strength, because cancer is a long term the treatment of cancer is a long term process. So there can be a possibility of a burnout even for the family member or the caregiver.
True.
So counseling is not probably only for the patient, but it is also actually for the family members.
Family and the caregivers, yeah. Because the caregivers need their breaks too.
Yes.
So that is why we have to emphasize that you should not shy from taking away your breaks and not feel guilty about it. So if you work as a team, it will help everybody in the family in the conducting of the treatment till the finish. Because many patients leave the treatment halfway, and we don't want that. So that is important to keep them motivated throughout.
Right. So this National Cancer Awareness Day, we recognize the power of being together. We know that every single individual has an ability, whether large or small. But when we come together, we can make a difference on a large scale. On this occasion, the most important thing is about spreading awareness. The key is when you have been spreading awareness, the cure or prevention is automatically going to happen. So let's come together and let's spread the awareness about cancer, and also let's help people who have been suffering from cancer and their family members. On this note, I would like to end this podcast. And ma'am, any message if you have for the audience?
Yes, surely. I would like to say that you're doing a great job by
Thank you.
creating this podcast and reaching out to many more people. Neha's NutriFit and other fitness centers, if they take on the similar kind of things, it will go a long way. Hand in hand, we can always work together.
Absolutely.
And early detection, prevention and early detection is the key to every cancer treatment. So as long as we follow that, I think we should all be a healthy country very soon.
So yes, healthy lifestyle and prevention and awareness are the key factors. So I'm Bhavesh Sheda, co-founder of NehaNturiFit, would like to end this podcast, and very soon we are going to come up with another podcast. Thank you so much.